Yet. I reckon that the word yet must be one of the best, most powerful, most positive words in the whole dictionary. I'm struggling to think of a time, any time, when inserting the word yet into a sentence or a thought hasn't resulted in a positive reaction of some sort or another. When things were challenging but going well in my career, the word yet helped me push on through. It was like a beacon of hope pointing away, albeit an unknown way at the time. Similarly, when things were just a little bit crappy and I felt that the whole world was up against me, I could rely on the word yet to remind myself that things weren't over just yet. Yeah, sure, there were times when the word yet in these circumstances reminded me that the crappiness was going to continue for a bit longer. But on the whole, yet has a magical superpower that can help even with those miserable times. I'm a firm believer that no one really has it all figured out. You know, this thing called life. We're all just doing our best one step at a time. Maybe from the outset it looks like everyone else knows what they're doing, but in reality, they're just like you and me. Some others are certainly pretty good at looking as though they've got it all sorted. You might even be one of those people. Maybe someone else right now is looking at you and thinking that you've somehow miraculously got it all together. It's all a little bit delusional though, isn't it? None of us really has a clue beyond our current moment in time. That's where the power of yet can come in super handy. I don't know how I feel about that yet. I don't know how to print this double-sided on this fancy new photocopier yet. I don't understand why people don't get what I'm on about, even when I think I'm super clear yet. This email doesn't make any sense to me yet. I'm not good at getting up in front of people and talking yet. I really can't do this yet. Apparently Socrates once said, "I know that I know nothing." Yes, he was probably talking about how knowledge is infinite, but I do wonder if he'd slotted a yet onto the end of a sentence, then he may have given all of humanity just a little bit of hope. Yet gives you that instant ability to take on a challenge and make it an opportunity. It gives you the chance to keep your mind open and to add a dose of curiosity. There's a caveat though, yet won't solve everything, if in fact anything. All it will do is open you up to being curious about the next step that you take, and it allows you to have the courage to make that step. Yet won't solve the world. Instead, it allows you to take control of some forward momentum without the sting of failure. I haven't mastered yet quite yet, but I'm willing to give it a go. How about you? Hi everyone, it's my pleasure to bring you this leadership module. Today we're talking about how to use one of the most amazing words in the English dictionary to your greatest advantage. Yep, I'm talking about the word yet. Today's journey will find us talking about the power of a positive mindset and exploring ways to utilize that simple word yet in our everyday thinking. Okay, so let's start with an understanding of the yet mindset. Out of all the 600,000 odd words in the English dictionary, yet stands out to me as one of the most helpful. Firstly, by using it, and I mean by using it often, particularly during those times when you're feeling really up against it all, yet helps build that resilience muscle that resides somewhere deep in your soul. Resilience is that thing, you know, in leadership that is the ability to stay calm, focused, and effective in the face of challenges, setbacks, or uncertainty. It helps you in bouncing back quickly, adapting to change, and continuing to lead with clarity and purpose, no matter how tough the circumstances get. Resilient leaders don't crumble under pressure, they find solutions, inspire confidence, and keep pushing forward. And ultimately, they know that times come and go, and that you might not be coping quite as well as you'd hope yet. By using the word yet, you're giving yourself the ability to almost magically view your challenges as a pathway for growth. Chuck the word yet on the end of a challenging situation and you're suddenly in a position to see the bog that you found yourself in an almost opportunist type manner. And when you find yourself using this sort of positive mindset, you're giving yourself permission to move forward. You're no longer stuck in that bog. You're giving yourself a ray of hope, or at least a rope or ladder to start climbing your way out. Great leaders are able to use a yet mindset to help and support those around them. Imagine being in a place where failure doesn't come across as some sort of crappy, excuse to smack everyone emotionally through blame games and negative accountability processes. Yet helps us to reframe failure. Failure isn't the end, it's a launch pad. It's proof that you're pushing the boundaries, taking risks, and stepping outside your comfort zone. Every failure comes with lessons, often the kind that no success could ever teach you. It forces you to adapt, to innovate, and to grow tougher and smarter. Did you know that the most successful people in history have failed repeatedly and then used those failures as stepping stones to greatness? So failure, it's not a dead end, it's a redirection, it's a reset. It's a chance to come back stronger and sharper than ever, to keep going. And as a result, you're encouraging not only yourself, but the team around you to stretch, to go beyond their current position, to find new ways to move forward. A yet mindset is really like a personal growth hack. It flips the script on failure and frustration. Instead of saying, I can't do this, you say, I can't do this yet. And that single word shifts everything. It reminds you and your team that skills and abilities aren't fixed. They're built through effort and persistence. A yet mindset helps you tackle challenges with a sense of curiosity instead of fear. It encourages you to take risks and keeps you moving forward instead of giving up. It's not about instant success though, it's about the belief that with time, practice and determination you'll get there. Yet keeps that door to growth wide open. It's incredibly optimistic. So how can you as a leader build your yet climate? Firstly, by reinforcing the mindset in your everyday leading. Follow this up by modeling growth to your team and building a safety net into your culture that permits people taking risks and even at times making mistakes. A yet mindset can be promoted by adopting some deliberate yet-like statements. To build powerful yet statements into everyday problems, start by flipping negative or defeatist thoughts on their head. When you catch yourself thinking, I don't know how to do this, immediately reframe it as, I don't know how to do this yet. Tack on that simple word to remind yourself that you're capable of learning and improving. Then break the problem to smaller steps and tackle them with patience. Practice this intentionally in your daily life, whether you're struggling with a tough project, learning a new skill, or managing those setbacks. And you'll train your brain to approach challenges with a growth-focused mindset. Yet transforms roadblocks into stepping stones. Secondly, if you want to lead with yet in your work culture, then it's incredibly important that you model this growth. Be open about your own journey, how you've learned from the challenges you've faced, even those where you found yourself flat on your face. A yet mindset can transform your team's approach to challenges by shifting the focus from limitations to growth. This is where your team really begins to embrace their learning. When team members start saying, we haven't figured this out yet, instead of we can't do this, they really are opening the door to possibilities and possibly collaboration. It creates a culture where mistakes aren't feared, but instead they're seen as part of that learning process. This mindset fosters curiosity, encourages innovation, and builds confidence that progresses its way into anything that's achievable. When leaders model and reinforce yet thinking, the team becomes more resilient, motivated, and eager to tackle even the toughest problems with optimism and determination. It's important to acknowledge that mistakes and failures can be huge trigger points, not only for yourself, but also for your team. You've got to spend time helping people understand that you're serious about embracing this sort of mindset and the way of doing things. You can do this by celebrating those times when people have put themselves out of their individual comfort zones, by recognizing the little steps that are made in order to get closer to those things that you're trying to achieve. Be wary though of how far you push people. Know your team and their capabilities, but most importantly, when they don't or you don't get things quite right, be accepting of the situation. Acknowledge what's occurred, acknowledge that things aren't quite right, and slot in a big fat yet at the end of the sentence. Don't dwell on the failure. Dwell instead on the next steps. Support the growth of your team by showing acceptance of a particular mistake. People don't generally make mistakes on purpose. They don't really want to fail. Okay, so we're almost there. Let's just quickly talk about how that simple little word bridges the gap between a fixed mindset and a growth one. Ironically, the only thing that should be fixed in your mind is that you have a growth mindset. Okay, so it's up to you now. there's a very, very good chance that you or your team might not quite get it all yet. There's a chance that you'll have your ups and downs and that you'll fall into old habits from time to time. Maybe you can help yourself by printing off a big yet on an A3 size piece of paper and pinning it on the walls around your office. And remember, the power of yet lies in its ability to transform limitations into opportunities. It's a reminder that growth is always possible, no matter how far away success might seem. With yet, setbacks become stepping stones, and challenges ignite curiosity instead of defeat. It's a mindset that builds resilience, fosters perseverance, and inspires progress, both individually and as a team. Embracing yet shifts your focus from what you can't do to what you're capable of, turning obstacles into catalysts for growth. Simply put, yet is the fuel for becoming better, stronger, and more unstoppable. Oh, and remember, you were a beginner once upon a time. When you first learned to walk, did you do this with a yet growth mindset or a fixed one?